is post-possession.
Offsetting personal fouls on both teams after the play. The half is over. The fouls are not enforced by rule. And that's the end of the first half.
So a splendid first half for Ty Detmer. 13 of 18, 143 yards, 3 touchdown passes to Irving Fryar. And at the half, it's the Eagles 21-11 over the Dolphins. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York. Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Marv Albert with Sam Weish. The Eagles over the Dolphins as we head to the second half, 21-11. Jimmy Johnson, Sam, is still upset about what he felt was a holding call on that third touchdown pass from Detmer to Fryar. This is moments ago when he came out for the second half.
Which means that they went in there at halftime and the coaches were confirming what Jimmy Johnson saw. Watch the left tackle right here, Barrett Brooks against Shane Burton. You see the left arm reach behind him. Now watch it as he pursues the quarterback, pull down. That's holding every day of the week. Classic example of it. And really should have been seen. The problem is the official, Ed Hockley, a referee, is standing to the right. And he is not able to see what takes place on the left. Marv, watch how Irving Fryar makes a move to the outside, then comes back inside. Look at Terrell Buckley jumping on the outside move. Irving Fryar wide open for the touchdown just before the half. And that makes it a 10-point ball game, 21-11. But Jimmy Johnson legitimately has reason to be upset.
Terrell Buckley, the man who replaced Troy Vincent, who is now the starting left corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the second half is underway. The return by Irving Spikes. Oh, he took a pop. As he crossed the 25, he was hit by Sylvester Wright. He's played well on special teams. A 20-yard return by Spikes. And we'll check out the Coors Light halftime statistics. The Eagles with 13 first downs. Done a nice job on the ground thanks to Ricky Waters, 94 yards. In all, 237 total yards as Ty Detmer has had an outstanding first half. 13 of 18, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns, picked off once. And Craig Erickson, 9 of 16, 116 yards, 1 touchdown and an intercept. They start out from the 28-yard line, and it's to the ground for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the rookie out of UCLA, was met by Andy Harmon and Mark Woodard.
Mark Woodard is usually the third down linebacker, starting the second half, though, at outside linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, and in place of Ray Farmer. Remember, Ray Farmer came to this team as a strong safety out of Duke and was moved in as a linebacker on the draft. 2nd and 9,
and Abdul-Jabbar tried the other side, could not make the turn, met by Thomas and Willis. Well, the MetLife blimp is today co-piloted by a good friend of yours, Sam, Snoopy, dressed as the famous World War I flying ace. And today, it says right here, rather than searching the skies for the Red Baron, Snoopy is enjoying NFL football action here in the city of brotherly love. It's a 3rd and 13 at the 25. Fred Barnett is in now for the Dolphins. Out of the shotgun. Look out. Erickson avoiding the blitz. Completing to McPhail. And Jarris McPhail puts the speed on and races inside the 45-yard line. He's tackled by the free safety, Brian Dawkins, and that's a 30-yard pass play.
Jarris McPhail is their third down back, and in the opinion of a lot of people around the Dolphin offices there, he may be as good as the whole bunch of running backs that they've got. Good job right here by Craig Erickson. He knew he was going to get hit. There was no more time to let anything develop downfield. Put the ball to McPhail, who I think probably sensed that this one had to be hurried because of the rush.
A 5th-round draft pick from East Carolina, Jarris McPhail. Here's Erickson on first down, and now he is taken down by Andy Harmon. 2nd sack of the day by the Eagles. The other was a cover sack by Red Hall, and Harmon with his 1st sack of the season.
He hurt his knee in the 3rd preseason game this year and was out, had arthroscopic surgery, missed the first 5 ball games. Token fake. Craig Erickson makes a mistake. Remember, we talked about step up into the pocket. Don't step back. That's where the tackles, the offensive linemen are pushing the pass rush behind the quarterback. When you back up, You run into sack problems, and Andy Harmon was happy about it.
Now, this is a guy who had 11 sacks last season, an unheralded player. You mentioned the arthroscopic knee surgery. He says he's still working the rust off. Again, the good rush. And the pass incomplete, intended for the backup tight end, Frank Wainwright, covered by strong safety, Michael Zordich. It brings up a 3rd and 20.
They blitzed James Willis, the middle linebacker that time. Jimmy Johnson wants to see if there was a roughing the passer that should have been called. Number 50, James Willis, no problem right there. He's coming in. There was no head-to-head contact. Just a clean tackle. Now, the referee, Ed Hockley, is going to make sure, though, that nothing further happens.
Miami on 3rd and long today, converting on 4 of 6. Jarris McPhail. And once again, the Dolphins hoping that he could make more out of it. This time could not. He was met by Zordich and Dawkins. And the punting unit will come on. John Kidd will punt for only the 2nd time this afternoon. 3 minutes have gone by in the 3rd quarter. The Eagles 21 and the Dolphins 11. 3 touchdown passes from Ty Detmer to Irving Fryar. That's Mark Say back at his 10-yard line. Mark Say has spent the last 3 years with the San Diego Chargers. Line drive handled by Say. And he's taken down at about the 18-yard line. A 36-yard punt, 6-yard return. Izzo and Brigance combined on that stop.
NFL on NBC is brought to you by Chrysler and the cab-forward sedans of Chrysler. What's new in your world? By UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL. By the new Coors Light wide mouth can. Tap the Rockies with a smoother pour. And by Subway. What a sandwich.
It is an overcast 55-degree day in Philadelphia. Dan Marino taking off the warm-up jacket. I don't know, Sam, any significance to that?
Well, it's still chilly, so that's part of it. I don't think he would come into this ball game until the 4th quarter for reasons we mentioned earlier. But this is the kind of situation that might tempt Jimmy Johnson to do it.
He is listed as the 3rd or the emergency quarterback. Waters finding a hole on the left side, stopped by Lewis Oliver as the Eagles go back to the offense. They are leading the Dolphins 21-11 with 11.5 remaining in this 3rd quarter.
And the drive Charlie with 3 touchdowns in that first half, a punt, and of course the big interception that kept Miami in it. Otherwise, this one could be a wide margin.
Yes, free safety Sean Wooden picking one off in the end zone that led the Dolphins back down the field. 2nd down and 3 at the 25-yard line. Waters gunning for the 1st down. So Waters has run the ball now 13 times for 98 yards. He ran 110 yards, 27 carries last week, his 3rd 100-yard rushing game of the season, and headed to number 4. It will be a 3rd and a half yard. Third down and about a half a yard. The tight end Jimmy Johnson in motion. Waters. Good job by the Dolphins. We'll have to see where they spot the ball. Shane Burton making that stop. And they're calling for the yardsticks. I mentioned the name Jimmy Johnson, the other Jimmy Johnson, a member of the Philadelphia Eagles wearing number 88. He's a backup tight end in his 8th season out of Howard. Spent time with the Redskins, the Lions, the Chiefs, and now Philadelphia.
Starting to rain here. We've had rain up until game time, but nothing until just moments ago. You know, we talked to Ray Rhodes. He wanted to get Charlie Garner. We got the 1st down, continuing the drive for the Eagles, but wanted Charlie Garner to get more snaps in this particular ball game. But you get into the heat of a ball game and you've got a player that's playing well, as Ricky Waters is, you just don't seem to get it done. And Charlie Garner is ready, of course, wants to play. and he's waiting in the wings, and a good one.
One of the NFL's most explosive running backs, but cannot get the playing time. Detmer off the roll, completing. Christy Jones tackled by Zach Thomas. And for Jones, that's his third reception of the day.
Both sides are starting to move the quarterback around a little bit. Earlier in the game, they were just dropping back with good protection. Ty Detmer rolls to his right just a little bit. The receiver is just going to run. Christy Jones, he runs about 5 yards down the field, makes a sharp plant, turns to the outside. The ball is thrown on time. 6'3", 209 yards. They really think this guy has a bright future. Only in his 209 pounds, but only in his second year. A lot to learn, but he's got all the tools.
Well, we talked with him the other day. He says he knows he is very raw. It is a first down picked up by the Eagles. But Christy Jones, after showing much promise last season, is getting the playing opportunity. He says that Fred Barnett was so helpful last year. Irving Fryar has also helped him with technique this season. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Here's Waters trying to cut back the other way, but could not. Met by number 38, the right corner, Calvin Jackson.
The corner's job there was what is called contain. He used to make sure that everything is funneled back inside. Quick force from his secondary position. He's got coverage responsibility, but as soon as the run shows, he comes up. And this is the safety, of course. Now the corner, you're going to see Calvin coming from the outside. There he is. He's the last line. Force everything back inside or make the play yourself, as he did there.
2nd down and 9, and now Garner is on the field. He's split out to the right side. Complete to the tight end, Jason Dunn. Beautifully thrown pass. It's good for 25. Thomas and Wooden combined to make the stop. Jason Dunn, a 6'4" rookie, 2nd-round draft pick out of Eastern Kentucky.
They really think he's going to be a big-time player. Watching me practice Friday, I agree with him. This is the kind of throw that Ty Detmer made so many times at BYU. A nice touch throw over the middle. Jason Dunn coming from his right to his left, sitting, slowing down right in the hole in the zone.
And a 1st down for the Eagles at the Dolphin 35-yard line. And Waters is stopped back behind the line. He was stopped on the handoff. What a quick move by the right defensive tackle, Tim Bowens.
When Tim Bowens was taken, everybody in the league thought he could be one of the rising stars in the National Football League. This game has gone back and forth. You know, one side will have momentum and drive the length of the field for a long touchdown. The other side will then come back and do it. Back and forth as we get closer to the 4th quarter, though. That temptation with Dan Marino gets more and more with Jimmy Johnson.
2nd down at 11. And Detmer thrown deep. He has fire again. That's 4 for Irving Fryar. A 36-yard touchdown pass. And Irving tossing the ball to a fan in the crowd. Irving Fryar came into today with 1 touchdown. 4 more to make it 5 for the season for the one-time Miami Dolphins.
You know, in my opinion, they're using Ty Detmer just right. The short, quick throws and the long touch throws down the field. Those are the 2 things that he's able to do well. Ray Rhodes knows how to use his personnel.
28-11 with the point after by Gary Anderson. 7:22 left, 3rd quarter. All right, a moment ago was Ty Detmer and Irving Fryar hooking up for the 4th time this afternoon.
Ty Detmer throws this ball so beautifully, leaves it in the air a long time. The defense is really there when the ball is released, but they break hard across the field. As you see, Wooden can't quite get to Irving Fryar, and the ball just travels right over his head.
And indicates, as we know, that was his 4th touchdown reception. Irving spikes on the kick return, try to stiff arm his way, gets across the 35-yard line. Fryar with 7 catches, 109 yards, including 4 touchdowns.
Lined up right here, and here's Sean Wooden. It's a 3-deep zone. Watch Wooden. His drop is to drop to the middle. They got a 3-deep. The tight end is going to take the coverage out from the Sean Wooden's left side. Fryar just goes over the top.
And penalty flags come flying as Miami starts out 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line.
Before the ball was snapped, false start by the offense, number 84, 5-yard penalty, it's still 1st down.
That is the tight end, Troy Drayton, called on the penalty.
Irving Fryar gets in behind, tight spiral. The rain is starting to come down right now. As long as the rain is just wet and we don't have wind and rain, it won't affect the passing game at all.
Wait a minute.
It doesn't freeze here.
Wet rain, Sam?
Wet rain and no wind.
I see.
Let me finish my sentence.
All right, Stanley Pritchard on the reception, stopped by Mark Woodard, and I think it's time that we step away on that one, Sam. Let's go to Greg Gumbel for an update.
All right, Marv in Indianapolis. A turnover gave New England this shot. Curtis Martin from a yard out easily scores to make it 17-6. It was that man, Marvin Harrison, who fumbled the punt away. And now the Patriots are in charge in the 3rd quarter, 17-6. Let's go back to Marv and Sam and the wet rain and everything else in Philly.
Back at the vet in Philadelphia, 2nd down and 19 at the 28-yard line, and the completion, a sliding catch, is made as Troy Vincent provides the coverage on Randal Hill, a 14-yard pickup. Getting back to the subject of Irving Fryar, the 4 touchdown receptions ties a Philadelphia Eagle franchise record. Ben Hawkins caught 4 against the Steelers in 1969, and Joe Carter, not to be confused with baseball's Joe Carter, in 1934 did it against Cincinnati. 3rd and 3 at the 44. The NFL record most touchdowns in a game is 5. And that is picked off. Or is it ruled incomplete? Let's see, did he short hop it? It is. Called incomplete. Michael Zordich diving for it, but it is a short hop. But it is 4th down coming up. And the punting unit checks in.
You know, my astute comment a moment ago, as long as the rain just stayed wet.
We understand. Sir.
Yeah, and when I was driving, of course, if the wind's not a factor, the wet doesn't usually interfere with the passing game, except right there. The ball just looked like it flew out of Craig Erickson's hand. He was trying to throw a little touch pass over the middle, and the ball kind of squirted on him.
There was no need to explain.
Well, I have to now because you've embarrassed me in front of the rest of the country.
A 4th down and 3, and here's the punt by Kidd to Say. Mark Say with a penalty marker down, getting out to the 17-yard line. Hit by Frank Wainwright, 45-yard punt and a 6-yard return, but there is a flag.
If this happened prior to the kick, it's going to give Miami a 1st down. They're indicating holding against the Eagles.
Holding by the receiving team during the kick. The foul was on number 40. 10-yard penalty enforced from the end of the kick. Miami keeps the ball 1st down. Correction. Philadelphia, the receiving team, keeps the ball 1st down.
Had it happened prior to the kick, there would have been a penalty in favor and given him the 1st down. But after the kick, it's on the end of the play.
Welcome back to Philadelphia, where that wet rain continues to fall. I won't mention it again.
It's not going away in my lifetime. Is that basically what we're looking at?
5:34 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Philadelphia Eagles with a 28-11 lead on the Miami Dolphins. Off the penalty, the Eagles starting out from the 6, and you see the movement. Tim Bowen's making the move across the line for the Dolphins.
Before the ball was snapped, encroachment by the defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, it remains 1st down.
So that was Bowen's. Well, this November, a 747 is carrying the world's deadliest virus.
could kill half the humans on Earth.
You're going to shoot down that plane in less than an hour.
We can't let that happen.
Say a prayer for those people tonight.
Coming to NBC November 10th, Pandora's Clock. Well, here's Charlie Garner getting an opportunity. And has the first down run out by Terrell Buckley.
Ray Rhodes wanted to get Charlie Garner in the ball game, and he almost broke containment that time. We talked about containment on the other side a moment ago. Charlie Garner is the kind of running back that's fast enough, quick enough to dip inside, bait everybody in, and then bounce outside and just flat out run the contain. You see Kevin Turner making the initial block inside and then bouncing outside. Terrell Buckley, though, good speed, good game.
The Eagles 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. And it's Garner again. Tried to accelerate, but bottled up. Charlie Garner, only 5'9", 187 pounds in his third season out of Tennessee. Has seen only limited action. Ran only twice last week against the Giants for 16 yards. Had a 39-yard reverse called back, though, due to a holding penalty.
I think Ray Rhodes is aware of the fact that you've got to get players like that in the ball game just to keep them in the season, because if anything were to happen with Waters, he'd be the main guy.
Well, he averaged better than 5 yards per carry last season. 2nd down and 5 and a whiff. Ty Detmer coming up empty, and it has rolled an incomplete pass.
Boy, those are hard calls to make. The officials got to decide, is the motion going forward when the ball came loose? Is it going to, Hockley going to give us, he's not going to give us interpretation. He's just signaling 3rd down. The ball is slick enough, apparently. Really what happens with a football like this is it's fairly dry, except on where the thumb rests on the ball is where the ball rests on the ground. And so that one part of the ball is wet, and your thumb doesn't hold it in place. But there was motion going forward before that ball came out.
And it was ruled an incomplete forward pass. A 3rd down and 5 at the 24-yard line, and Garner trying to pick his way. He's short of the 1st down. Met by Norman Hand.
You know, sometimes, Marv, the center, as he adjusts the ball just prior to the snap, will actually wet the ball even more. He'll push it down into the ground a little bit when you got some surface water like that, and then the ball comes up feeling dry to the quarterback, but that one place on the ball opposite the laces is wet, and you have accidents like that.
Right, here's Tom Hutton. Did not have a particularly good day last week against the Giants. Had the 56-yarder in his first punt. Handles the high snap, and line drives it. And McDuffie lets it roll out of bounds.
They're going to get James Fuller for holding on that one. And Jimmy Johnson is probably going to be saying it's a little bit late to be seeing some of these holding calls. Very unhappy on their touchdown in the first half.
40-yard punt by Hutton, but here is the interpretation on the call against Fuller.
And the officials always talk these over to be sure.
By the kicking team, number 22. 10-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Sometimes I wonder why they have to go and talk it out, but really the reason is there could be more happening than just what one official saw. There could be another circumstance or maybe another penalty. But right up at the top of the screen, here you see Fuller. William Fuller reaches out. He's beaten rather than allow the block. James Fuller tackles the rusher, and Ed Hockley caught it.
James Fuller at his 3rd NFL season out of Portland State, a one-time Charger and Saint. So Hutton once again, this time from inside his 5.
Dolphins had the rush on.
And McDuffie decided to let it go, and it takes a good Eagle bounce inside the 25, but again a flag is thrown. Well, if this one holds, it's a 57-yard punt.
Looks good in the paper the next day. Didn't really travel 57, but if you're not sure you can handle the ball, it's best to pull away. And the discussion again to make sure that the call is clear. Ray Rhodes all the way out on the field to examine this one. Jimmy Johnson, of course, just as interested.
And the call against Miami, he can only go so far. That's as far as the cord will allow.
53 foul was during the kick. It's enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
So the call against Miami, the good punt by Hutton will hold up, and we will take a break. Well, today the MetLife blimp cruising the skies above Veterans Stadium, powered by twin engines that are capable of reaching speeds greater than 57 miles per hour. Snoopy 1 can navigate at altitudes in excess of 6,000 feet. A look from above Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia. We welcome you back. Marv Albert with Sam Weiss. 3:12 remaining in the third quarter, and the Eagles with a 28-11 lead on the Dolphins. Miami back to the offense. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trying to accelerate, met by Zordich and Dawkins. What a day for the strong safety Michael Zordich. 10 tackles, nearly picked one off on that last series. And Ray Farmer, who we mentioned was injured earlier, is definitely out the rest of the way. A pinched nerve in his right arm. So Mark Woodard is in there as the outside linebacker. A 2nd and 2 at the 21-yard line. And again, Abdul-Jabbar able to break free for the first down. Gets up across the 30-yard line. Zordich and the right corner Taylor make the stop.
That's 2 plays in a row that the Miami Dolphins have come out with 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers. 1 wide receiver and 1 tight end to each side of the ball. The quarterback, Craig Erickson, comes up and he's going to make the audible at the line of scrimmage. Just call it check with me. They're either going to run to the right or the left. Well, what you've got is a balanced situation where there's a tight end and a flanker to both sides. The quarterback then calls the play to the best side.
Well, Kareem has picked it up today with 16 carries, 60 yards, a first down at the 33. Erickson incomplete. Pass intended for the fullback Stanley Pritchett, who was covered by middle linebacker James Willis.
That is what is known as a coverage almost sack. They didn't get to him, but he stood there a long time looking for somebody to get open. Went to his secondary and third receiver, couldn't find him. But as we look down the field, Fred Barnett was wide open, upset that he didn't get the ball. There I am. I always told my guys, quietly get back to the huddle. Remember, they're looking upstairs. They're gonna cover you next time.
A 2nd and 10 from the 33. Erickson trying to protect the ball, and he's taken down for the 3rd time. Eagles were looking for a strip. He was able to tuck it in, but he could not get the throw off. Greg Jefferson, a 2nd-year player from Central Florida, 3rd-round pick a year ago, has come up with his first sack of the day.
And as Dan Marino watches Craig Erickson looking and searching and holding the ball, nothing seeming to happen for him downfield. It has to be going through his mind as well as Jimmy Johnson as the 4th quarter approaches. Should he play in this ball game? 28-11. Can he get him back in the game?
3rd and 13. Erickson stepping up, throwing on the run, and he completes it. What a play as Fred Barnett comes up with his first catch of the season. Bobby Taylor made the stop. It's a 21-yard hookup. Barnett, a man who has made a dramatic recovery back from the reconstructive surgery on his right knee. He's been spotted throughout the game, and this is his first reception of the day.
Craig Erickson has really done a good job of keeping head and eyes down the field. He was almost beyond the line of scrimmage on that particular scramble, and the receivers are working to get open. You know, sometimes sticking your hand up like that actually helps. Our quarterback can find you down the field.
First down at the Eagle 47 with this 3rd quarter running down. Again, the completion, McDuffie. And he has another Miami first down. Mark Woodard, Michael Zordich combined on the stop, and for O.J. McDuffie, his 4th catch of the day.
That was excellent vision by Craig Erickson. He wanted to throw the ball to Stan Pritchett in the flat. As he looked out there, he spotted McDuffie inside and just popped in the shorter pass. Always take the shortest throw because the ball's in the air, shorter period of time. It gives the receiver a time to run after the catch.
And apparently just shy of the first down. It'll be second in inches as this third quarter comes to a close.
Presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Now that we're in the fourth quarter, if Dan Marino enters the ball game and things aren't going right, maybe his ankle's bothering him or whatever, Craig Erickson or Bernie Kosar could come back in the ball game. They're going to leave Erickson in to see if he can score right now.
So the fourth quarter underway. Erickson throwing for the end zone. A pass intended for O.J. McDuffie, and Troy Vincent nearly picked it off against his former team.
Second down and short. Good time to go down the field. You've got the third down to come back and make the first down. Just straight post pattern. You run straight down the field and break to the goal post. That's where the name came from. Defense is right there. Troy Vincent almost intercepted that one. He actually was in better position as it turned out.
Third and inches. Eagles 28 and the Dolphins 11. And Abdul-Jabbar, who has run well, has the first down inside the 30. Zordich and Dawkins again make the stop.
Richmond Webb, the lead blocker on this one. Ball coming off the left side. Third down and short. Abdul-Jabbar. Wide open hole all the way to Dawkins and Zordich. Now the strip. Now the first down's made. The only thing they can do now. Now watch right here. Richmond Webb. That's what you call a pancake right there.
Ninth play of the drive. First down at the Eagle 29. Ball fake. Erickson. Looked like he was setting up the screen. He did. A flag thrown. The completion for McDuffie, who has the first down. Bobby Taylor on the tackle. A 14-yard hookup if it does remain.
From where the flag is thrown, somebody probably lined up. No, they're going to call holding against the defense. Must have been right off the line of scrimmage. One of the defensive players. And that was not really a screen. The ball was thrown down the field on a crossing pattern.
Holding by the defense, number 36. The penalty is refused. Result of the play is a first down.
That's the strong safety, Michael Zordich, 10-year veteran out of Penn State. And it is a first down at the 15-yard line.
The reason that had the look of a screen is the defensive line was in on Craig Erickson so fast. That's normally what you try to do when you throw the screen, let them loose. I think they just had a good rush, and Craig Erickson made a play.
81 McDuffie in motion. Abdul-Jabbar again hit back behind the line. James Willis with the tackle. Willis has played well once again here this afternoon. He is the Eagles' leading tackler. Last week he had 10 against the Giants. Ray Rhodes said it was Willis's best game of his NFL career.
I think he's playing pretty sudden myself.
Yes.
A lot of some of the comments were that he sudden, meaning of course that he wasn't making quick decisions, but he sure is today.
And a loss of 3. The tackle by Willis. Second down and 13 at the 18-yard line. Abdul-Jabbar getting inside the 15, then pushed back. Kevin Johnson, Hollis Thomas involved on the stop. Coming into today, Miami at 4-2 in a second-place tie with Buffalo. A game behind first place Indianapolis. Colts at 5-1. New England well in front of the Colts. In the fourth quarter, Buffalo playing the Jets in the Meadowlands. Later on, third down and 9 at the 14-yard line. 12.5 to go. Fourth quarter. Again out of the shotgun. Erickson now running. Flag is down, and he slides inside the 5-yard line. A penalty marker is tossed.
This is going to be an interesting spot. It's holding again, so it's not going to matter. But Craig Erickson started his slide at the first down marker. They marked it just about at the marker.
Holding by the offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
So It won't come into play now, but the point is that if you concede the tackle, they mark where you initially concede the tackle, not where you slide. It's not where your first touch. And Craig Erickson almost didn't get the first down, but the hole would have brought it back anyway, and they're going to have to go after it. Now, right here, be careful. If they can get 3 points, it will make the score a 2-touchdown difference, and the Dolphins are still in pretty good position. What they don't want to do is come away with nothing on this drive.
That hold against the left guard, Keith Sims. It is a 3rd and 19. Erickson for the end zone, touchdown! O.J. McDuffie. And the Dolphins are right back in it. McDuffie beating the combination of Dawkins and Wilburn. 6th catch of the day for McDuffie.
What a beautiful pass and a big play at the important time. Look at the eyes. He's searching down the field. Now, he is not looking at receivers. He's looking at defenses. He's trying to see where the hole's going to be. That one is just between about 3 Philadelphia Eagle defenders and is going to turn out to be a very big 4-point spread right there. Field goal versus a touchdown.
And the point after by Nedney. 24-yard touchdown pass. So the score, the Eagles 28, Dolphins 18. A light rain still falling here in Philadelphia. This is only the 9th time the Eagles and Dolphins have met. Dolphins have won 6 of the last 8. They've won the last 5. Coming back into this one, now trailing 28-18. Here's Derek Witherspoon on the kick return. Able to break a tackle and run out, but a flag is down. Chris Singleton ran him out of bounds. Well, Miami 12 plays, 87 yards, 6 minutes and 5 seconds, capped off by that Erickson touchdown pass to McDuffie. And Witherspoon is shaken up.
Holding by the receiving team during the return, number 52, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
And the call against Sylvester Wright.
Moments ago, the touchdown throw from Craig Erickson. Look at Barry Wilburn, Zordich, everybody right between 3 defenders and the linebacker. Of course, William Thomas also dropping back in there. That was a big play. They needed to come away with points. Even a field goal would have left them within 2 scores. But now they need a touchdown and a field goal, or better, to keep them in this ball game. Dan Marino on the sideline. Watch the reaction. Heck yeah.
I believe that is what he said.
That's what he said.
And Craig Erickson able to hang in, having a good day. 17 of 28, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, picked off once. For Ty Detmer, easily the best game of his NFL career. Hands it off to Kevin Turner, the fullback, with a rare carry, his first of the day, only the 11th of the season. He was met by Tim Bowens.
And the Eagles are in the same formation that the Dolphins were in just moments ago. A tight end on both sides and a flanker on both sides. It balances the defense and also gives you 2 strong sides, left and right, because you have a tight end on both left and right side.
2nd and 9 at the 12-yard line with 11:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. Detmer trying to set the screen, and it is incomplete. Intended for Waters, and again a flag.
They're indicating holding. When you get a hold like that could be against the defense, and it is. Not allowing the receiver to get out. Now, you can grab behind the line of scrimmage like that if he was not downfield, because you don't know if he's a blocker or a receiver.
Holding by the defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That is the rookie from Baylor, Darrell Gardner, number 92, called for the hold.
See him coming to the screen now. Right here is the hold. He's got his hand and grabbing. Will not allow Ricky Waters out of the backfield. Good call by the official.
And a 1st down at the 17-yard line. Started out as a draw. Waters took it to the outside and gets up to the 19, met by Terrell Buckley. White Hollier. Coming up next on most of these NBC stations, game 2 of our doubleheader. Most of you will see the Broncos and the Ravens. Others will see the Bengals take on the 49ers, or the Steelers go up against the Oilers. Or regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area. 2nd down and 8 at the 19-yard line. Redskins well in front of the Giants, and Dallas and Atlanta now all tied up in that race in the NFC East. The completion to Irving Fryar, who has had a sensational day. Zach Thomas making the stop. 8 catches, 116 yards, 4 touchdowns for Fryar. It is just short of the first down. Also, here's a schedule note to Kansas City Chiefs and Minnesota Vikings fans who are watching today's game. The game between these two teams on November 3rd has been changed to the late time period. That's 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. And, of course, you'll see it right here on NBC. 3rd and a half yard. Detmer off the roll. Could not find anybody and has to eat the football. Chased by Daniel Stubbs.
Big play for the Miami Dolphins. That was 3rd down and a yard. Instead of trying to smash mouth right up the middle and make their yardage, they went with the rollout and holding them right there after just marching and scoring a touchdown, giving them what should be pretty good field position, a chance to get right back in this ball game.
Set it back to a 4th down and 4 at the 23. You see O.J. McDuffie getting ready to handle the punt from Tom Hutton. Hutton is back at his 7-yard line.
They stop the clock there because they call that a sack, and until the ball is spotted, the clock is stopped.
And that goes down as the first sack of the day on Detmer for Stubbs' 6th of the year.
Short punt.
Oh, and McDuffie trying to make the catch was interfered with. Run into.
These are the kind of breaks that you can't afford to give a team in the 4th quarter when they are making their momentum change on you. It was unintentional. The punt was short. McDuffie was coming up. The kill guy, or the chase guy as they're called, the first man down on the punt, never saw it happening. And the troubles that the Philadelphia Eagles have had with their special teams that popped their head up again.
Looked like Adam Walker, the backup fullback and a special teams guy, was involved. Here is the call.
Interference with the opportunity, catch the kick by the kicking team, number 29. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that is Adam Walker in a conversation with special teams coach Danny Smith. And that's a costly penalty. Timeout taken. We'll be right back. 28 remaining in the 4th quarter. Marv Albert, Sam Weish from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Off the penalty on Adam Walker in the punt return. The Miami Dolphins back to the offense starting at the Philadelphia 43, and Abdul-Jabbar stopped by Michael Zordich.
O.J. McDuffie making the fair catch signal. Adam Walker really just out of position, didn't see what happened. Interfere with O.J.'s chance to make the catch. And Danny Smith, the special teams coach, he's looking at it, chewing the gum, of course, as is his custom. But watch right here. Just at the end of it, in his back pocket, he's got a bunch of pictures that have been taken during the course of the ball game. He pulls them out, which is a nice little retreat when you're really not sure what to do at that point.
Feeling that perhaps the photos might show something different.
Yeah, but those are pictures taken earlier in the game. They wouldn't help you now.
All right, off the 2nd down and 7. Craig Erickson able to slide his way for a 1st down. He picked up 13. Craig Erickson, originally drafted by the Eagles 5 years ago, signed as a free agent, spent 3 years with Tampa Bay, Sam. And last season, he was with the Indianapolis Colts as the backup quarterback.
We took him in the 4th round of the 2nd draft. He didn't sign a contract with the Eagles when he was drafted in the 4th round, and we got him in the next draft in the 4th.
All right, Abdul-Jabbar with a good second effort. Eagles thought they had him down. Zordich and Thomas combined to make the stop. So 21 carries, 79 yards for Abdul Jabbar. Atlanta Falcons coming from behind to tie the Dallas Cowboys. New England, solid performance against the Indianapolis Colts. Giants coming from behind. Washington now leading 28-21. Redskins at 5-1, 5 straight wins. Philadelphia comes in 4-2. Dallas at 3-3. 2nd down and 2. Erickson off the roll. Erickson throwing, and it is incomplete. Pass intended for O.J. McDuffie. It brings up a 3rd and 2 at the 20.
Craig Erickson has been very good on 3rd down. He's 8 for 12 on 3rd downs for 145 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception. And, of course, on his last drive, a 3rd down and 19, drew a 24-yard touchdown pass.
Now McDuffie is to the left. And Barnett, who has made his return here today, flanked to the right. Abdul-Jabbar not able to pick up the 1st down. Met by Hall and Dixon.
Joe Nedney's going to come in and kick the field goal. They're down by 10, 3 points here. You'd like to have scored a touchdown, obviously, so that your final drive as you close out the game, you're only looking for 3 points instead of the touchdown. But you have to take it right here. 4th down and about 3.5 yards. Come away with something.
And nothing is certain with Nedney, although he did hit earlier from 37. This is a 39-yard attempt. He is 7 for 12 for the season. Can cut it to a 7-point and a high snap. Nedney's kick. It is good. So Nedney is hit on 2 for 2. And the Eagles now lead by 7. 6:56 remaining in the 4th quarter. Nedney with the kick. He has been very solid. It's taken by Garner playing for Derek Witherspoon, who was injured on the last kick return. And Garner is submarine down at the 25-yard line. The hit made by Tim Jacobs. Well, a reminder tonight on Dateline, what do Americans really want in a president? JFK Jr. and George Magazine joined forces with Dateline to find the ideal candidate. Who is he? You may not know him, but our polls say you want him. Watch Dateline Sunday. That's later tonight right here on NBC. The Eagles starting out at the 26-yard line. And Detmer with the handoff. Charlie Waters. It's Ricky Waters. And he's stopped by Chris Singleton and Sean Wooden. And Waters, running in that unique style up high, was able to run well and move the chains.
Again with that balanced formation just off the right side. The Philadelphia Eagles have 125 yards before that play rushing, but they had 94 of those yards in the 1st half. It's crucial right now that running game come back because they want to eat the clock up with just over 6 minutes to go in the game and a 7-point lead.
And a 1st down at the 37-yard line. Waters 113 yards on the ground. And again, Waters, this time just a couple, met by Tim Bowens.
Right now, Marv, the defense is they're concentrating on stripping the ball all the time. But right now is when that could, of course, turn the ball game around. You remember in the offseason, the Players Association actually complained that the Dolphins were having too physical workouts in the mini camps. And what they were doing were practicing the strip of the ball to steal it away and get turnovers. They are plus 12 coming into this ball game.
2nd and 9 at the 38. Again, Waters. And again, just a yard. Daniel Stubbs and Tim Bowens combining on the stop.
Stubbs and Bowens are big defensive linemen there to stop the run. Ricky Waters, as he gets in there, there's really nothing happening. He's got to just kind of measure himself a little bit. And anytime you're waiting behind the line of scrimmage, everybody's coming to you.
3rd and 8 at the 39. The lone deep back is Waters. And Detmer finds Waters, but he's hit from behind. A big play by Zach Thomas, who was able to prevent Waters picking up the first down.
What a player. This is a young rookie that the Philadelphia Eagles incidentally could have drafted, but they took Quint Marshall out of Georgia instead. Here he goes after Ricky Waters, the tackle, even after the catch, but it wasn't enough for the first down, bringing up the punting situation.
So Tom Hutton will punt to O.J. McDuffie. Down to 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Eagles lead by 7. And Hutton just did get it off. McDuffie lets it bounce. And it takes an Eagle hop inside the 15. And it rolls inside the 10-yard line. And it will go down as a 50-yard punt by Hutton. Miami back to the offense when we come back. Well, Sam, Dan Marino beginning to loosen up. 31 fourth quarter comebacks, 13 on the road. Craig Erickson has done a nice job, though. 17 of 29, 236 yards. But it could be a decision for Jimmy Johnson with 3:43 remaining. Look out, Erickson in trouble. Fires one downfield, just looked to throw it away and had to really rifle it. Randal Hill was in the area, but that time he was trying to prevent a safety and just wanted to get the ball away from the Eagle defenders.
Token fake, the terminology used in the league is a waggle pass or a bootleg to the right, and then the throw down the middle. You don't throw that ball if there's a free safety in the middle. I don't think Craig Erickson knew if there was or not. He just overthrew everybody.
The Eagle defensive players looking to pump the crowd up, waving their arms. It is a 2nd and 10 back at the 8-yard line. Eagles lead by 7 points, 28-21. Erickson is taken down, but a penalty marker is thrown.
And Jimmy Johnson may be complaining that Mike Mamula got a jump on the snap count and maybe was offsides. He was sure quick around the tackle.
But the holding call against the Dolphins. The ball is just inside the 1.
Be against Richmond Webb if they call holding on Mike Mamula, against Mike Mamula. Richmond Webb doing the holding.
Holding by the offense. The penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down.
The reason they declined that penalty is that they used a down up, of course, and they sacked the quarterback on about the 1-yard line. Just got a great start on the snap count and was around Richmond Webb before he could get out of his stance.
The Eagles with their 4th sack of the day. It's a 3rd down and 17. Erickson getting the protection. Oh, what a hit. Mark Woodard making contact with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now the Dolphins will have to punt out of their end zone.
Craig Erickson had been very good on 3rd down. Didn't have anything down the field. Laid the ball off. Woodard makes the big hit. His job is to be the 3rd down linebacker. He's in there all the time. Been playing now because of the injury to Ray Farmer. Let's see if, and it looks like they are. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to go after this. They're going to make him punt the ball quick and try to get a low kick if he gets it off for a good return.
And John Kidd in the back of his end zone. Mark Say awaiting the punt.
They fake the rush.
And here's Say. Good coverage by the Dolphins. O.J. Brigance on the stop. 49-yard punt, 3-yard return. 2:38 remaining in this fourth quarter. Eagles lead 28-21. And what do you think, Sam, if Miami gets it back with a chance? Do we see Dan Marino?
I'd like to know if Jimmy Johnson knows Dan Marino's warming up.
Yes.
If he does know that, then there's obviously he's warming up for a reason, and that is that he would be, this is the exact situation that you would use him. Closing moment of the game by the time he gets the ball, and the passing arm of Dan Marino, your best chance to get back into this ball game, as well as Craig Erickson has played. Here's your moment for Dan Marino.
But the Eagles obviously want to hold on to that football the rest of the way. Here's Waters breaking through. inside the 20. Waters, touchdown.
We won't see Marino now.
A 49-yard touchdown. 164 yards on the ground for Ricky Waters. 21 carries, 164 yards, and the Eagles extend to a 34-21 lead.
Look at the determination on Ricky Waters as he comes off the field. He left the 49ers wanting to be the man here in Philadelphia. The guy that can make a difference and put him into contention for a Super Bowl and playoffs year after year. Those are the kind of runs that do it.
And now the attempt for the extra point is Gary Anderson. So with 2:28 remaining in the fourth quarter, the Eagles now lead 35-21.
This run initially was to eat up the clock. Just make sure we keep possession. Suddenly the hole broke loose and off to the races. A lot of speed for a big man. Just a giant hole. Really the first half-hearted effort I've seen Zach Thomas make. It looked like he just didn't have his feet under him to make a change of direction to make the tackle. It was his responsibility to make that play at the line.
And for Ricky Waters, that is a career high 164 yards. His fourth 100-plus game of the season. 21 carries, 164 plus the touchdown. The previous 4 touchdowns, Detmer combining with Fryar.
And the Eagles were 7-0 when he had 100 yards or more. Looks like they're going to go to 8-0 with Ricky Waters in that 100-plus category as a rusher.
A kick by Anderson. Jarris McPhail with the return following Irving spikes. Getting to the outside, putting the speed on, and then taken out of bounds. And flags come flying. Brian Dawkins making the stop. Might have been a face mask. We're down to 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Each team with 3 timeouts remaining.
Personal foul, face mask by the kicking team, number 20. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that's the man who made the tackle, Brian Dawkins. And it appears that Bernie Kosar will come on. So it will not be Dan Marino, although if it were a 7-point game, it was taking on the look of Marino making the appearance.
I wonder exactly what this discussion is right now. Craig Erickson it looks to me, is asking, why am I coming out of the ball game, coach? Especially if you're not going to put Dan Marino in, why not leave me in the ball game? I'm warm. Bernie Kosar is not.
And Kosar looking to dump it off. It'll be a second down and 13. Here's the 2-minute warning. Eagles 35 and the Dolphins 21. We'll be back in a moment.
Ball game by Craig Erickson. A lot of big plays in this ball game. They're going with Bernie Kosar right now, and really a moment ago we saw them talking, Jimmy Johnson and Craig Erickson. They were not arguing. It wasn't a June Jones, Jeff George situation. They were just explaining the issue to each other.
Second and 13, and Kosar with a sideline pattern. Don Griffin on the coverage of Fred Barnett. Well, today the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 teaming up with NBC, providing an aerial view of Veterans Stadium. MetLife Blimp high above the Vet. Third down and 9 at the 41-yard line. And Kosar, with the time, was able to avoid the sack and then goes incomplete, intended for Jarris McPhail, covered by William Thomas. How about Atlanta? They are now in front of Dallas 28-25 in the fourth quarter. Next week, the Dolphins are home for Dallas. That may catch the attention of Jimmy Johnson, although he says that it is he more involved rather than his players. He thinks the Cowboy players, though, will have a different perspective on it.
I think he's exactly right. Anytime your team's getting ready for a game, as much as people ask you about future games, you're getting ready for this ball game. Philadelphia Eagles in this case right now. But Jimmy Johnson, I know, is as this game ends, he'll be looking for a very strong performance next week. And the Dolphins, though, aren't giving this one in yet. There's still a little bit of time left with Bernie Kosar completing that one out of the backfield to Jarris McPhail.
It's good for 11 yards. Down to a minute and a half remaining in the fourth quarter. The Eagles next week are home for Carolina. They have played 4 of their first 6 games on the road. And Kosar finding McPhail again, works his way inside the 20, stopped by Wilburn. The Dolphins to the line in a hurry. The clock is running. And now Miami takes a timeout with 1:11 to go in the fourth quarter. The Miami Dolphins won their first 3 games, beating New England, Arizona, and the Jets. Then they lost at Indianapolis, lost at home to Seattle in the rain, and beat Buffalo last week. The Buffalo win an enormous victory, but a loss today, and 3 of the last 4 in the loss column for the Philadelphia Eagles. They make it a record of 5-2. And coming into today, game behind the Washington Redskins, who are in front of the New York Giants. Eagles with wins over Washington, Detroit, Atlanta, and the Giants. Here's Kosar and completes it to O.J. McDuffie, and he's in for the touchdown. And this one is not over with 1:04 remaining.
Not at all. And you're going to see Danny Smith on the Philadelphia Eagles sideline getting the hands team ready, because the next play after this extra point will be an onside kick.
So Bernie Kosar off the bench for Craig Erickson. And he has been able to engineer this touchdown drive, a 17-yard pass play. Kosar 5 of 6, 43 yards on the drive. Now Nedney with the extra point. So the Eagles with a 7-point lead, 35-28, 1:04 to go.
The Dolphins have 3 good quarterbacks. Craig Erickson's played well. Bernie Kosar comes in and orchestrates a drive to score late in the ball game, right down the chute. Pretty good coverage down the middle, and O.J. McDuffie makes the second effort to get in. The ball has to cross the plane, and that's all, and that's what he reaches for. Watch right here, touchdown. Running across the field, but then turning up as soon as he can. And when he sees the line, reaching out. If the ball crosses before any other part of his body, his knee or hip or anything else touches, it's a touchdown. Now with a 7-point difference, the onside kick. Both teams huddle on their respective sideline to talk this one out. They practice this all the time, but never full speed. You can't do this one full speed until you get into a game.
O.J. McDuffie with a second touchdown reception of the day. 7 catches, 121 yards. He has 3 TDs for the season. There have been some outstanding individual efforts today. Detmer 18 of 24. He's thrown for 4. O.J. McDuffie, you see the numbers there. Ricky Waters.
Marv, I think part of the reason that Bernie went in there, he's been around this offense in the 2-minute situation longer, probably a better chance to move the team for him.
And the onside kick, it is handled by Mark Say. So the Eagles able to cover up.
The onside kick is always a touchy deal. For one reason I mentioned earlier, you can't practice this one full speed anywhere except in a game because of the chance of injury. But Danny Smith, you know, wanted this one to go their way, Philadelphia's way. He's been under a little bit of fire, and Ray Rose pointed out to us, as we mentioned earlier, that he was just answering in response to a question. He wasn't singling him out as a reason for anything on the field. 2 timeouts for the Miami Dolphins. They'll have to use them on the 1st and 2nd down.
As I was mentioning, Waters 164 yards on 21 carries. Irving Fryar 4 touchdown receptions against his former team. Waters trying the right side, and the clock has stopped. Miami calling for time. Well, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, it'll be game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. Most of you will see the Denver Broncos hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Others will see the Bengals and the 49ers, or the Steelers go up against the Oilers, or regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Miami with 1 timeout remaining. Philadelphia has 3. 59 seconds to go in this 4th quarter, and the Eagles leading the Dolphins 35-28.
This was going to come down to a 4th down play. The timeout will be called immediately following this one, putting the ball at about 52 or 53 seconds.
And Waters hit back behind the line. Zach Thomas with the tackle.
Quick hit left him with 54 seconds now and no timeouts.
Well, Dallas has moved back in front of Atlanta, and New England in front of Indianapolis. Washington about to wrap up the Giants. Final seconds of the 4th quarter. Carolina over New Orleans. So the Carolina Panthers go to 5-2. That's the final timeout taken by the Dolphins when we resume a 3rd down and 9 at the 41-yard line with 54 seconds remaining.
What'll happen here is that the clock will continue to run. When the tackle is made, there'll be about 49 seconds maybe left to go with a 40-second clock.
Waters trying to pick his way and stopped by Norman Hand. Sam, thinking back, your many years coaching at Cincinnati and Tampa Bay, do you ever lose one like this?
Absolutely.
Being the
hardest loss I ever had.
Talk about from the Eagle point of view, blowing it.
Oh, well, you know, the famous one, of course, is the Pasargic handoff, the New York Giants making the handoff and mishandling it and losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm sure that they are talking right now, carefully talking this one over to make sure this one's handled just right. 16-15 as it counts down. The differential is going to be about 6 seconds. If they run a play and they don't get anything out of it, there will be like 1 play left for the Miami Dolphins. They can putt the ball high. The ball will be in the air long enough, probably in the game. Run the risk, of course, of a blocked punt.
So the delay of game is taken, and the clock is stopped with 6 seconds remaining. Miami out of timeouts, and they mark it off. The ball is spotted at the 42-yard line.
The key to this play is everybody do your job. Make sure that if you're going to run the ball, and probably be some kind of a sweep to eat up some time, everybody block and hold on to your blocks.
And they give it to Waters, and that will wrap it. So the Philadelphia Eagles with a 35-28 victory over the Miami Dolphins. Eagles go to 5-2. They remain a full game behind the Redskins, and the Dolphins 4-3 with Dallas coming up next week. Coming up next on most of these NBC stations, game 2 of our doubleheader.